This video will be in two parts. The first part will be how to install the Vivado design suite for FPGA development, and then the second part will be how to configure Vivado to work with your Diligent Basys 3 FPGA board. The link to that part of the video will be in the banner on the top right. You can go ahead and click that and fast forward to past the installation video if you already have it installed. Alright, so before we start, we're going to need to make sure that you can meet these requirements. So to install Vivado, you'll need to have at least 60 gigabytes of free space in your hard drive or SSD. If you don't have that kind of space, then I'd recommend getting an external hard drive or installing a secondary drive into your system. You'll also need a solid internet connection for about 1 to 2 hours. That's usually how long it took me to install that using my internet. Of course, it'll vary depending on your connection speed and how fast your computer is. That's just roughly how long it took me. So, you'll also need an EDU account to register for Xenix. Your TTU email will work for this. And if you already have a Xenix account, then your login information, just have that on hand so you can log in when you need to download the file. So, alright, let's get started. The link to the download will be in the description below, but if you don't want to go and copy paste that, you can just simply type Vivado into Google here and it'll take you right to the page. There it is. And we go over to download Vivado. And we're on this page right here, which this link will send you to. Alright. One key thing you have to know is you do not want this first link right here. You do not want this. This is a product update. This is what you use if you already had Vivado installed. Don't get this. You don't need that. You need to scroll down to the bottom of the page and find this full product installation for the Vivado design suite. This is what you want, and this is the download you'll be clicking to get the exe file to install Vivado. You can go ahead and click that, and it'll take you over to sign in. I already have an account, so I don't need to register, but if you don't have an account, it'll ask you to register. You can create an account, register, sign in, and then download it. So, and then I can just click sign in and it'll take me over here, fill out all my information, job function student, and press the download button right there. I already have it downloaded, so I'll just go ahead and click cancel and then just pop up to my downloads folder and double click the exe to run. After your installation has completed and you finally installed Vivado, you should probably have these three shortcuts on your desktop. We're going to go ahead and ignore these two right now and just double click this one to open up Vivado. If you don't have these shortcuts, you can go ahead and go here and just search it up in the Windows search bar and then have it pop up right there. But we're going to launch Vivado here. First time you launch Vivado, you'll have a screen similar to this, and we're going to go ahead and get right into configuring it. So we're going to go and create project here. And we'll just follow the wizard through to finish configuring Vivado. So on this first slide here, one thing to note whenever you're naming your project is you do not want to have spaces in your project name or in your project location and your file path. Vivado sometimes occasionally has problems where if it detects a space, it'll stop reading anything past that space. So whenever you try to open up project 2, Vivado will occasionally be like, I cannot find project 2, all I found is project, because it hasn't read anything past this space. It thinks it's ended right here. So to avoid that, we're just going to put it underlined here and move on. I'm going ahead and click do not specify sources here. You can go ahead and uncheck this if you'd like. It'll just fill in some of the sources with pre-configured templates for Vivado. Personally, I don't like those templates, so I don't use them. We're going to go ahead and leave that check there and move on. This part right here is where we're going to enter in the Basys board serial number. So you'll find this on the back of your Basys board box, the box that the Basys 3 board came in. And you can also find part of this code on your actual Basys board, right on top of the Arctic 7 chipset in the middle of the board. But it's very difficult to read that, so I'll just try to keep the box around because you'll need it. In my case, the code on the back of the box is something similar to this. We type this in without any of the dashes or capitalization that it has there. And we see that my board pops up right here. It's the only one of this type, so just go ahead and hit that and click next. And then we'll just hit finish up and then it'll install the project. Here we have some of the information about the board, its full project part number, and then the product family. To finish configuring Vivado to work with the Basys board, this isn't a Verilog tutorial, so I won't be going into some of the stuff you can do as in simulations and the synthesis and the bit streams and whatnot. But I will show you how to manage the constraints file right here, because you will need that to start coding in a Verilog, and so you can actually have things happen to your Basys board. What it does is it literally constrains all the code you make in Verilog with the individual processes on the Basys 3 board. So we're going to go ahead over here and hit add sources, and we're going to add or create constraints here. I'm going to go ahead and create constraints here, and you'll see this link in the description here, but this is the constraints file for the Basys 3 board. And it's this link right here. I'll post this link in the description. But basically, we want to name this name right here, Basys 3 underscore master. Go ahead and copy that, just so it's familiar and so we know where it is. And then we can go ahead and hit OK. We can go ahead and hit finish, and then we see our constraints file is right here. We can go ahead and double click that and open it up inside Vivado. Here it is. And then we'll just simply want to go to this page, Control A, Control C, head over here, and then Control V. And we have all of this here. Hit that save button just to make sure. With the parts that we're going to be using, you'll want to comment or uncomment the parts that we're using. So for the 7seg, these parts are already uncommented, so those will be available to use in your code. The LEDs here are uncommented. If you wanted to use all the switches, you can just go over here, delete these number signs, and then we can go ahead and use these parts in your code. If you want to change the name of any of your cores, like let's say switch 0 over here, we want to name it something like switch 1, or if we had some certain functionality on it, as in like on button, we can just name it here and then make sure to name it here as well. And then whenever you reference this specific switch in your Verilog code, you can just call this variable name and use that as well. This works for anything as well over here. So if you want to use it for here or here, you can do the same. Just make sure that if you do change something, you also update the array here. and so on and so forth. You get the general idea. So that's how we work with the constraints file. In the next video, I'll show you how to actually use this in Verilog code. I'll give you some demonstrations and some starting tips on how to streamline your Vivado process and work with Verilog. Personally, I don't like this text editor inside Vivado, so I use something else and just have it update here. That should be pretty much it for this video for now. In the next video, I'll have a proper demonstration of all the synthesis, bit streams, and whatnot. And we'll be going over a little bit about PWMs and how to code in Verilog. But for now, I'll keep this video short just as a configuration and installation for Vivado. Post a link to the next video, and that'll be it. Thank you.